She rolled her eyes at her friend and said, "He thinks we're exclusive, but honestly, I'm still keeping my options open at the restaurant." I was walking back from the car, her purse in my hand. When I heard that, I set it down on the table in front of her, looked her straight in the eye and said, "Yeah, keep them open." Then I turned around and walked out. 10 minutes later, my phone lit up with her panicked call. Her card had just been declined. "I'm 28, male, and I met Lila 8 months ago at a buddy's housewarming." From the moment she walked in, she had that kind of presence people notice without her even trying. Quick with a comeback, flashing this killer smile, and always talking about her job in marketing at some flashy little tech startup. We clicked right away, and within a couple of months I thought we were serious, exclusive. At least that's what I believed. Fast forward to last Friday. We were at this trendy fusion spot downtown. She'd left her purse in my car and asked me to grab it while she sat down to order appetizers with her friend Taryn. I was maybe 20 feet from their table when I heard Taryn lean in and ask, "So, are you guys like, official?" That's when Lila actually rolled her eyes. "He thinks we're exclusive," she said, "but I'm keeping my options open." "Why tie yourself down, right?" Taryn cracked up. "You're terrible." "So, does he pay for everything?" "Usually, yeah. He's sweet like that." And there I was, standing there holding her $800 designer bag, the one I'd bought her for her birthday just 2 months earlier. Inside that purse were the apartment key I'd given her, my spare car fob, and probably the pair of earrings I'd surprised her with just last week. I walked over, dropped the purse by her plate. She looked up, her smile flickering when she saw my face. "Keep them open," I said again, and walked straight out. Her first call came exactly 11 minutes later. I know the time because I was already sitting in my car in the parking garage, staring at my banking app. See, we had a joint savings account. It was supposed to be for our future apartment. I couldn't just empty it completely, but there were things I could do. So I submitted a withdrawal request for every cent I'd put in. $8, $7.34, $62. Now, the bank had a rule. Anything over $5,000 needed both signatures to transfer instantly. But I could freeze the account and request a full audit of the funds. And that's exactly what I did. Then she called again. "Babe, my card just got declined. What's going on?" "Which card?" I asked. "The joint account one." "Oh, that's frozen. I requested an audit." "What? Why would you do that?" "Because I just found out I'm not actually in an exclusive relationship. Seemed like a good time to reevaluate our finances." "This is about what you overheard?" "You're overreacting. It was just girl talk." "Cool. Then pay for dinner with your own card." And I hung up. But I wasn't done. I opened up our shared Google Calendar and quietly erased myself from everything. The Palm Springs trip next month, the concert tickets for her favorite band, even her cousin's wedding where I was supposed to be the +1. Gone, all of it. That night she blew up my phone. 23 calls and 47 texts. I read every single one, didn't answer a single thing. Update 1. I figured that would be the end of it. Change some passwords, grab my spare key back, move forward. I wasn't out for revenge. I just wanted Lila completely out of my life. But apparently she wasn't ready to let go. Sunday morning, my phone lit up with 52 Instagram notifications. She'd plastered our entire relationship timeline across her feed with captions like, "When you thought you'd found the one," and "Some men just can't handle a strong, independent woman." The comments were savage, her friends calling me insecure, controlling, toxic. Even strangers were chiming in, talking about my fragile masculinity. Then she went a step further and posted a TikTok. It blew up, 47,000 views in just 6 hours. She filmed herself crying, makeup smudged just right, telling the world, "I was only joking with my friend, and he abandoned me at a restaurant with no way to pay. Then he stole all our savings." That's when I realized I needed to cover myself. I started documenting everything. Screenshotted every single text where she referred to the apartment fund as our money. Pulled the bank statements showing her contributions were exactly 0. Dug up our messages where she swore up and down she was exclusive with me. Even one where she wrote, "I deleted all my dating apps for you, baby." But the real twist didn't come from her. It came from someone else entirely. My buddy Colin, who works in IT for a rival company, called me Monday morning. "Hey man, weird question. Lila's your girlfriend, right?" "Yeah, why?" She's been messaging our head of marketing on LinkedIn, pushing all these marketing strategies that look way too detailed. My boss asked me to check it out. What kind of details are we talking? Client analytics, campaign performance numbers, ROI reports, stuff that should never be public. Looks like she's trying to steal clients, dude. That's when everything clicked into place. See, about 3 weeks earlier, she'd borrowed my laptop for a presentation because her battery had died. I didn't think twice about it, but I keep remote access turned on for all my devices. So I pulled up the activity logs. Clean, legal, airtight proof. She had gone into our shared drive, downloaded 17 files, each one full of sensitive client data. The logs recorded everything. Timestamps, file names, even the USB stick she saved them to. I called Colin back. Can you send me those LinkedIn messages? Already did, man. This is bad. That same afternoon, I walked into my boss Marissa's office carrying a folder of evidence. We've got a potential data breach. Her face drained as I laid out the logs. How did you even find this? She asked. Another company's IT flagged it when Lila tried to pitch them using our data. They called me directly because they recognized the numbers. We need to loop in legal immediately, she said. Update 2. I can't share every detail here for obvious legal reasons, but let's just say Lila's week went downhill fast. Her company got slapped with an investigation after mine issued a formal notice about the stolen data. My boss didn't want the PR nightmare of pressing charges, but they demanded the files back and written assurances it wouldn't happen again. By Wednesday, Lila called me in tears. For the first time since I'd known her, she actually sounded scared. Please, you have to tell them it was a misunderstanding. I could lose everything. Like how I misunderstood that we were exclusive? I asked. That's different. You're right. That was just cruel. This is a felony. I only used those files to help with job hunting. Everyone does it. Not everyone steals proprietary data from their boyfriend's company. It's not stealing. I was just showing initiative. Your lawyer will explain why that won't fly. Then she tried another angle. What about us? What we had? What we had was me footing the bill while you shopped around for other options. By the way, how's your LinkedIn networking going? There was this long pause. How did you? The head of marketing at Morrison Tech recognized our numbers. Their IT traced it straight back to you. You set me up. No, Lila. You set yourself up. I just found the proof. By Thursday, her company had her on administrative leave while the investigation played out. She had to hire a real lawyer. Not her friend's cousin who kinda knew law. And then things got even stranger. That night, she showed up at my place. Not sobbing, not raging. Just calm and calculated. Leaning against my doorway, she said softly, I know you're hurt, but think about this. We could fix it. I could make all of this disappear if you just let me back in. Final part. And how exactly would that work? I asked her. She smirked like she had it all figured out. Simple. I take down the posts, tell my company it was a misunderstanding, and we move on together. In return, you go to your company and say the same thing, no harm, no foul. I couldn't help but laugh. You're seriously trying to negotiate with me after everything you've done? I'm trying to save us both from a mess of legal bills. This could get expensive for both of us. She wasn't wrong about the cost, but she'd missed something important. Lila, I've got computer logs that prove you accessed and downloaded company data. Morrison Tech has your LinkedIn messages showing you tried to sell that data. And your social media posts? They accuse me of stealing money that the bank records prove you never even contributed. So tell me, what exactly are you offering that would make me walk away from this? That's when the mask came off. You're really going to ruin my life over some jokes? I'm not ruining anything. You stole from my company and dragged my name through the mud. I'm just refusing to cover for you anymore. She turned to leave, but not before taking one last shot. You don't understand. I've been drowning my mom's medical bills, my student loans. I needed this. For half a second, I almost pitied her. But then I remembered the $800 purse on her shoulder, the flashy trips to Miami and Vegas she'd bragged about online, and the brand new iPhone she'd bought just last month. Lila, I've seen your Instagram. Whatever story you're about to spin, save it for someone who hasn't been bankrolling your lifestyle for the past 6 months. Update 3. It's been about a month since the night at the restaurant. And here's where everything landed. The legal mess dragged on for 3 weeks. Endless meetings, lawyers going back and forth, negotiations I wasn't even allowed to sit in on. In the end, both companies agreed they wanted it to disappear quietly. Lila's employer fired her for violating their code of conduct and her NDA. She had to sign paperwork promising never to use or share any of the stolen data, and she's barred from working with any of our clients for the next 2 years. My company was satisfied with that. The money situation was trickier. The bank required both of us to be present to close the joint savings account, so we had to meet at the branch. Awkward doesn't even begin to describe it. She tried to argue that she was entitled to half, but the transaction history didn't lie. Every dollar in there had come from me. Her contributions were laughable, 2 deposits of $50 each, followed immediately by withdrawals of more than $200. Even the bank manager raised his eyebrows at that. In the end, she signed and the account was released entirely to me. All $8,734.62. But here's something people don't tell you. The aftermath is strange. I bumped into Taryn last week at Whole Foods. She came right up to me and said, "She's really struggling, you know?" "That's unfortunate," I replied. "She lost her job, her apartment. She's moving back in with her parents. Sounds like the consequences of her own choices," I said. Taryn shook her head. "You could have just talked to her about what you heard." "I could have," I told her. "But would it have mattered? She wasn't just cheating. She was dating around while expecting me to pay for everything. And on top of that, she was stealing from my company. The restaurant comment wasn't the problem. It was the moment I found out the truth. She wasn't just lying about us. She was downloading confidential data off my laptop. That's theft. But hey, if you think she deserves another shot, feel free to hire her yourself." That ended the conversation pretty quick. I'll be honest, though. I'm not proud of how the whole thing unfolded. Sometimes I wonder if I should have just walked away after the restaurant and never looked back. But when someone tries to ruin your reputation publicly while they're the one doing the stealing, you don't always get that option. I've been seeing a therapist since all this happened. Not because I regret defending myself, but because I need to figure out how I missed so many warning signs, how I convinced myself paying for everything was normal, how I ignored the little inconsistencies in her stories. Last week, my therapist asked me, "Do you feel guilty?" "Sometimes," I admitted. "She lost everything. Did you force her to take that data?" "No." "Did you make her lie about your relationship?" "No." "Did you make her drag your name online?" "No." "Then what exactly are you guilty of?" I thought about it. For not seeing it sooner, I guess. For being naive enough to trust her. She smiled and said, "That's not guilt. That's growth. The joint account is gone. I used some of the money for therapy and tucked the rest away in a brand new savings account, with only my name on it this time. Maybe I'll take a solo trip someday, or maybe I'll just keep saving for that apartment. Either way, it's mine now." Lila's social media has gone dark. From what I hear, she's moved back in with her parents and is working on herself. Her LinkedIn still claims she's a consultant, but Colin told me she's been applying out of state. Word travels fast in our industry. She did try to reach out a couple of weeks ago, sent a long email about how sorry she was, how stressed she'd been, how she never meant for it to spiral this far. I didn't reply. My lawyer said not to, and honestly, what was left to say? Funny thing, I actually went back to that same restaurant last week with some friends. Different server this time. On the way out, the hostess stopped me. "Hey, weren't you here about a month ago? You left kind of suddenly." I froze. "Yeah, why?" She grinned. "Your girlfriend's friend ended up paying." She was furious. Said the bill was supposed to be split 3 ways, and then her card got declined too. We had to call her boyfriend to come cover it. $312. I couldn't help but laugh. Looks like Taryn learned her own expensive lesson about girl talk that night. Life's strange like that. One overheard conversation can flip your whole world upside down. But maybe that's exactly what needed to happen. Maybe sometimes, you need someone to drop your purse on the table and tell you to keep your options open. As for me, I'm taking things slow, focusing on work, spending time with the friends who'd been warning me from the beginning. Should have listened. I'm learning to tell the difference between confidence and manipulation, between independence and exploitation. And yes, I changed all my passwords, enabled 2-factor authentication everywhere, even my Netflix. Found out she'd shared it with at least 3 people. My recently watched was full of shows I'd never even heard of. If there's one thing I took away from all this, it's that when someone shows you who they are, you need to believe them. And if they say it out loud while you're standing 20 feet away, believe it twice. Some people will say I went too far, that I should have been the bigger person. But being the bigger person doesn't mean being a doormat. It doesn't mean letting someone steal from your company and drag your reputation through the dirt without consequences. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's just stepping aside and letting people deal with the fallout of their own actions. I didn't destroy Lila's life. I just stopped enabling her to destroy mine. Her TikTok, last I checked, stalled out at around 73,000 views. The comments turned into a war zone, half calling her a victim, half calling her out. Someone even linked her LinkedIn and brought up the data theft. The narrative shifted, but I don't bother keeping track anymore. That chapter is closed. I'm writing a new one now. One where I set boundaries, know my worth, and don't confuse manipulation with love. And if I ever hear someone say, I'm keeping my options open, again, at least this time I'll know exactly what to do, smile, walk away, and let them figure out how to cover their own dinner.